everyone, it's Lindenherz. Well, after a long hiatus, I'm back. Yeah, it was quite a long time. It's quite a long time since I made a video, and there was a lot of things happening here in my private life, and some things that I already said on my Instagram for those of you who are following me. And yeah, for more details, I guess I will make a separate video on that. And I will also hope to do a video in a couple of days. I hope, to make a video with something special for all of you. Yeah, but after this long time, yeah, I thought of doing another, doing some kind of, not an unboxing and not necessarily a first impressions, because I had to unwrap it already and bring it in order, because this is actually a deck that was on sale because the box was not good anymore, as you can see here and here. But the cards are in perfect fine condition, but they were all, yeah. What was the term that Kelly used? I'm not sure if I used that word correctly. Wobberjawed or something? So they were, yeah, not in the right order, to make it short. But I thought of sharing this deck with you. It's an old deck. It's a very old deck, I guess. It's from the 90s, from the end of the 90s, actually. But it was something that I could afford at the moment. I'm really on a very tight budget because, and this is something I will tell you now, in a few weeks' time, I will marry. I will marry my lovely boyfriend, fiancé, how you want to call him, my love, Henrik. And yeah, we set the date, and it will be an October wedding. So hopefully in the golden October, in the golden autumn weather, we will have our wedding. Just a simple wedding, and we will have a bigger celebration next year with more friends. This time, or in October, we will just celebrate with the closest of family. Yeah, but that's the reason I'm on budget, and also a little bit on budget regarding time. But another thing that some of you already know is that my website is finally up. For those of you who don't follow me on Facebook and also don't follow me on Instagram because they don't have Instagram, maybe, I have now my website online for, I guess, since August, since the beginning of August. And yeah, my blog is slowly coming to it's coming along nicely. I still have I still have to take some time out occasionally because of all the planning that is, although it's only just a small wedding, but there are so many things to consider at the moment. And yeah, but that's the reason I'm on budget in terms of time and in terms of money. But this one was so good, I couldn't miss it. And I'm quite into the divine feminine since a couple of months, actually. And try to get my hands on divine feminine decks, or feminine decks in general. And so I got my hands on the Goddess Tarot by Kris Waldherr. I also have, not here at the moment, it's in my shelf, a book by Kris Waldherr called Embrace the Goddess Within, but the German edition, where you have summer illustrations in, but only black and white illustrations, not full color ones, but a lot of useful suggestions how to work with certain goddesses, which is really nice, and I really like that. But I wanted to have more of her artwork. And I know there is also the Lover's Path Tarot, the TH problem, the old German TH problem, and also another Goddess Oracle by her, which I consider getting, but I'm not quite sure because the format is quite not necessary to my taste, because the images of the goddesses are so small and there is a lot of writing on it, so some kind of affirmation or something. I guess if I would get that deck, I would trim it quite harshly down, so to have smaller cards and not so much space and only just the small image of the goddess. But this one here is the Goddess Tarot, like I told you. This comes or came, I guess, I'm not sure, I'm not quite sure how long it's ago. This came with a large guidebook, or with a larger guidebook, up until, I guess, a couple of years ago. I'm not quite sure if this is still in print, but I wasn't able to find it. I know you can get the book separately. What I did was I purchased the Kindle ebook separately for this deck, to have a bit more information regarding the goddesses and regarding the thoughts of Kris Waldherr, or Waldherr, because her name, her surname, family name, suggests a little bit something of German heritage. I'm not quite sure. At least the name sounds German, Waldherr. So this is the little white book that comes with the deck, and yeah, it's okay. You get everything you need. And if you want to take a look at this guidebook, you can do that by going on the website of Kris Waldherr and download the this little white book as PDF. So you can go through it, read the meaning of the cards, what she is thinking about the goddesses and so on. Like I said, only just a little bit of information you can get, but enough to get started. And I quite like the fact that you can get the little white book for free on her website. The larger guidebook, I guess when you purchase it in printed form, it's $10 or something, and around $4 or $5 as a Kindle iBook or ebook. And it's yeah, I quite like that. And I guess I will get the Book of Goddesses that she created, and that a lot of the images are taken from to put in the in this tarot deck. So this could suggest it's kind of an pre-existing art deck, to be honest, but still it makes sense how she chose the goddesses. It makes sense to me, at least. Maybe other people would think otherwise, but or the contrary, but I quite like her choice and quite happy with that so far. This is quite a traditional deck in terms of Smith Waite depiction. The thing is that I've read on Eclectic Tarot, one of the reviews, I'm not sure who was writing it or who had written it, someone suggested that there are other systems that went into that, like Marseille. I'm not really sure of that, mostly because I'm not a Marseille girl, but still, this deck is very readable also for beginners. Maybe what can happen is that you would have some problems regarding the majors, because they are renamed. You have all the names of the goddesses below, and you have to get or wrap your head around the meanings and the goddesses. And it's quite good when you start to study the goddesses by themselves, so you get a maybe more intuitive approach. This might not get in alignment with the tarot as a system, but still, it's quite I guess it only adds to reading the deck in a more individual way, and I quite like that. So what she had written here is the Goddess Tarot is a celebration of the divine feminine, drawing its inspiration from the many goddesses honored throughout history and all over the globe. Award-winning author and artist Kris Waldherr has created an essential tool of empowerment and transformation. Waldherr is well known for her best-selling The Book of Goddesses, from which some of the art in the Goddess Tarot has been taken. The Goddess Tarot used goddess stories and imagery to update traditional tarot symbolism. Oops, I lost the line. Addressing women's contemporary needs as well as a mythic path. The deck 78 lushly illustrated cards are divided into major and minor arcana, with four suits within the minor arcana. Suits are related to a particular goddess, and the path suggested by her story, giving each suit a potent resonance. Cups are associated with Venus, the Roman goddess of love. Swords with Isis, the great Egyptian goddess who represents the journey of loss and redemption. Pentacles with Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of prosperity. And staff with Freya, the North goddess of creativity and beauty. As rich in symbolism as it is in beauty, the Goddess Tarot is an instrument for personal growth and the reclamation of the divine feminine. We would say Zungenbrecher. No, it's just me not always able to read perfectly or a perfect English aloud. Yeah, not a mother tongue. So let's start with Tara. So I will give a little bit of information to each of the goddesses, at least the origins. I hope that they are in the little white book. So the Tara is related to the Tibetan I can't speak, sorry. To the Tibetan pantheon. But if I remember correctly, was it also Chinese? I'm not quite sure, and I hope I don't say anything which insults those of you who are working with Tara, whether it's white Tara or green Tara. And I have another book here and try to get a bit more information, the Goddess Oracle. And I try to get a bit more about her. Blop, blop, blop. There she is, Tara. Okay, here it says, who originated in India and whose name means star, is a major goddess in the Tibetan pantheon, and so on and so forth. So origins are Indian, but she's also popular in the Tibetan pantheon, so on the Tibetan belief system. So she is here as the Fool, as beginnings, and it's quite, like I said, I haven't worked with Tara a lot, or I guess at all, only a little bit through oracles and so on and so forth, but I guess you only can improve your reading of this deck by studying the goddesses, and that was also one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this deck. So here's the backing, by the way. Wonderful blue color. Still thinking about trimming it, so trimming it like until the border here, and the white borders off up and here on the top and then the bottom. But at the moment it's okay. The cardstock is quite okay. This is US Games, and it's quite a smooth cardstock. Feels quite good. It's quite sturdy, but still quite flexible. It's okay. I quite like it. Here we have Isis for magic, or the magician. Here we have Saraswati for wisdom, which is their high priestess in a traditional deck. I hope you can see it. The clouds here coming in fastly, and we have quite a strange weather today, like sun, rain, sun, rain, sun, rain. So here we have Saraswati, which is an Indian goddess, and she stands for the high priestess. So I want to make it a bit quicker here. Otherwise you have to watch this hour-long video or whatever. So now we get into a little bit of trouble. We have fertility, which is the Empress, and now how to pronounce that name. no, Est Sanadlehi. Oh, I'm sorry if I murdered that name. And I try to, she is a Navajo corn goddess. And I'm really sorry for all the First Nations who might listen to my terrible pronunciation of your goddess. I'm so sorry. Maybe there's someone out there who can give me a little bit of a clue how to pronounce that correctly. So now we come to 4, which is power, which is normally the emperor. And here we have Freya with her wagon, with her chariot, drawn by 2 cats. And I quite like it. And I like the borders that are telling more stories of the goddess, about the home, the realm of this goddess. Here we have Juno, or Juno, tradition, which is the Hierophant, and I quite like it that this is a bit different. And I try to remember, I guess Juno was the Roman equal to Hera, if I remember that correctly. I try to find it. No, it isn't set here. Juno was honored as a patroness of marriage and other traditional rites of passage in women's life. This Roman goddess was believed to watch and protect all women from their first breath to their last. And I really like it. The thing is, why I come to the conclusion that this is, although I'm not quite sure, but I'm okay, when I look at the peacock, I'm quite sure, because the peacock is also the animal that is related to Hera, so the wife of Zeus. So now we come to Venus. And this is quite interesting. So Venus is the Roman goddess of love. So the Greek goddess is Aphrodite. It's quite interesting that we have some kind of you see in the background Venice. So this is not necessarily the time of the Romans, the old Romans, but okay, you can get it. Venice is also, called the city of love or something. And maybe it's Paris, but still, or what has to do with romantic also has to do also with Venice. So also quite fitting. And she here on this luscious bed, and you can't tell where her dress is starting and where the bed is beginning or ending or whatever. This is really lush. Here we have movement, which is the chariot, and we have Rhiannon, the horse goddess, and here we can see the Chark horse in the background here, this famous Chark figure, and she is also looking great. Here we have Justice, so this is no change at all. We have Athena. So this is the only thing that I guess is maybe giving a clue that this is more a Marseille-based deck, because they change justice and strength. So here we have Contemplation, which is actually the Hermit, and we have Chang-O. And this is a goddess that I wasn't familiar with at all. And it is a Chinese moon goddess that was exiled to the moon because of her need to obtain divinity. With her white hair as her only companion, she spent much time alone contemplating life's mysteries. And I quite like the thing that there is also the rabbit associated with the moon, because I remember that also in the Japanese mythology, the moon is also related to the hare. So I quite like that. So there are overlappings, so to speak, cultural overlappings. Here we have Lakshmi. And the colors are really vibrant and amazing. They seem a little bit darker than when you look at them on screen or something. This is sometimes a little bit poor because some things are getting lost. But still, look at that. Oh yeah, strength. And that is so beautiful. Yeah, I'm quite into African Santeria goddesses at the moment. I'm still reading, and hope to finish soon. Jambalaya by Yayy, Louisa Tish, and about voodoo, and I'm quite fascinated by that. Here we have Kuan Yin, sacrifice, so for the hanged man. She looks almost a little bit Indian, like a mix between Indian and Chinese from her features. This is also a goddess that I wasn't familiar with. Ukemochi. Seems like Japanese. Transformation. Transformation was death, I guess. Yeah. After her death, the Japanese food goddess Ukemochi's body transformed to supply food to humanity. Her head turned into cows. Grain sprouted from her forehead. Rice plants sprouted from the goddess' belly. And so life was transformed from death. Okay. all I can think of is, because the last part of the name is mochi, there are these kind of treats or sweets or something that called mochis from Japan that are quite tasty. And this was the reason I was falling in love with that deck. And I'm really sad that this turns out so dark, because you're almost not able to make out her features. And I was so in love when I found this image online. Yemana or Yemaya, or Yemoya, so it has different kinds of pronunciation depending on the background, the cultural background. So African, Caribbean, Santeria goddess, Yoruban origin, and so on. So she is the mother of all. She is the mother of the water, the oceans, and oh my gosh, she is so beautiful, so beautiful. And I wish the printing wasn't that dark, because like I said, you almost lose her features. So here's another goddess, Yayy Loro Kidul. So I try to figure out temptation. This is the devil. And the devil. Here it says, within the green waves of the Pacific Ocean resides the seductive mermaid goddess Yayy Loro Kidul. Her powers reflect the temptation of illusion, of beauties which may be enslaving, of obsessions which control. Pacific Ocean, okay. Mermaid goddess, but they don't give any clue from which origin. However, this is something to find out. So this looks like Aboriginal goddess or goddesses. The Vavalak, oppression. Oppression was, oh my gosh, 16. The tower. It's the tower, or do I confuse it with a... This is something I still struggle with, strangely, because of the numerals and the Roman numerology and so on. I try to figure out if there is something you can... It is... What could it be? Is it the... I guess it's the tower. This is the tower. And the other one was the devil, I guess. So the Vavalak. So this sounds Aboriginal. And what do they say about the Vavalak? During the dream time, the Australian Aboriginal sister goddesses, the Vavalak, were swallowed whole by, how to pronounce that? Yulungur, the great rainbow serpent. Oppressed by darkness in the belly of the serpent, the Vavalak wept until they were reborn through Yulungur back into the light. I am sorry if I murdered that name. I'm so sorry. So now we have the star. Quite obvious. Inanna. She's Sumerian origin, I guess. We have Diana, the moon goddess, quite fitting here. also something I wasn't familiar with. This is Zoria or Soria. How to pronounce that? Soria? Russian mythology. In Russian mythology, the three Soria are goddesses attendants to the sun god. As well as bringing warmth and light to the world, the sun represents the brightness of intellect, creativity, and fertility. So here in the background we have this dashing sun god and these three lovely ladies who possibly will do all the work while he is posing in the back. Sorry. No, of course he's doing his job. Yeah, Guinevere. Guinevere to see the goddess is quite interesting. It's something I would have come to that, but well, Guinevere, the Welsh first lady of the islands and the sea, is believed to have existed as long as there was surf to pound against the rocky shore. Praised for her judgment and wisdom, it was believed that no man could rule Wales without her by his side. Okay, and at least we have Gaia. Oh, I heard that you in Greek you would say Gaia or something, if I say that correctly. So now we have the minors, and like I read before, these are related to goddesses. So the cups are related to the goddess Venus. So and these are quite traditional when you see, and I will do it a bit faster here. So these are quite obviously quite similar to the Smith-Waite, and you can really easily read them. I'm quite sure that these are the cards that she created specifically for the deck, whereas the other cards were also part of her goddess art book or goddess book. It's not an art book actually, it's a book about the background of each of the goddesses. I like the colors. You can easily see in which suit you are. This is really wonderful. And we have Princess and Prince for the page and the knight. And something which is interesting is that you find the order in the book that there is king and queen and not the other way around. So I guess this is the only thing that is has to do with the fact that this is a goddess or a female-centered deck. And I quite like the fact that this deck is not so much, it's not all feminine, so to speak. Because there are decks where you have no men at all, or sometimes men that are portrayed where the negative traits of patriarchy are portrayed, and I can get where they're coming from, but I really also like decks where they showing different kinds of approach to the, or a new kind of approach to the masculine divine. So getting a new image, something where a new generation of men can look up to, so to speak, to get this paradigm shift. So now we come to the realm of Freya with the staffs, and I try to make it a bit quicker because my camera will die in about 6 minutes or so. So here you can see it's also quite easy to see which card is which and which element you're in because of the borders. And it is simply beautiful. And here you have the more mundane, also mundane kind of women. At least it looks like it. And here we have also the prince. Here's the other way around, okay? This has to do with me. The princess, the prince, the king, and the queen. Now we come into the realm of Isis. And I quite like the fact that here in the Two of Swords, this is a card I really like to look up when I find it. It said, an impasse is met. The woman has blindfolded herself so she can better look within, surrounded by lotuses, water flowers behind her, symbolizing the confusing emotions she has rejected for now. Peaceful truth, balance attained, but eventually issues will have to be confronted. I like the idea, this kind of peacefulness. Not this so much this torn apart between two paths. This is also part of this card, of course, but first comes the peace, and then you see what emerges from that. So also quite traditional. It's quite easy to read these cards and to see what they're meaning. At least this woman is spared by this by these swords. Oh, well, no, I misinterpreted. I thought this was the 10 of swords. Of course not. It was the 8. Here we have the 9, and here the 10, which looks more like a pip card actually. Here you can see the date when this painting was finished. So we have the princess. Oops, I haven't turned that right. The prince, the king, and the queen. And now to the realm of Lakshmi. I like the flowers here around. This also looks a bit more pippish, although illustrated. The 4 of Pentacles. The 5 is also gorgeous. Yeah. Quite easy to read. 10 of Pentacles. Princess. Prince. Wow. The king. And the beautiful queen. So I hope you like what you've seen so far. Maybe you will give this deck a go. It is at least wonderful to dive into goddess studies and get a more deeper look into the divine feminine. So I hope we will see us soon in the next video, where I will announce something special for you all, and I wish you all the bliss. All the bliss. We can try something new. I wish you a blissful day or a peaceful night. Until the next time, bye bye.